throughout my life, I always realized, or I always had an understanding of, I guess, what love really symbolized and what love really is. And of course, I'm not divine truth, and I don't have all the answers yet, and I never will. Because knowing all the answers is being God. However, in terms of a metaphor, what we believe today about love, especially for people our age or my age, and in the Western world, is referred to as fish love. And what fish love is when someone is going out to eat and someone asks the other person, "Hey, what do you want to eat? You want to eat fish?" And the person says, "Oh my God, I love fish. I love to eat fish. That's fantastic." No, that person does not love fish. That person loves the way the fish tastes on his tongue. If that person loved the fish, he would not eat the fish. He would love the fish in other ways and unconditionally, but by eating the fish, he only loves what the fish does for him. And I think we're misconstrued what love really is. We're always talking about what other people can do for us, as opposed to what we can do for other people, what we can do for our country, for our family, for our friends, for the people that we love. And I have to think about this when I romanticize about women and about girls, right? In the back of my mind, it's like a nuclear deterrent for me, because every moment I'm questioning myself if I really love what this person is. If I take away what this person gives to me, would I love them? And that's the paradox that stands in my way, that stands in your way, that stands in everyone's way. So how do we go about this then? Because if life is a transaction to a certain extent, how do we go about talking to people without this voice in the back of our minds that's constantly telling us that we're using people for what they have, for what they are, for their reputations? Keep that in the back of your mind. Most of the love we see today is fish love. Especially when people are quick to dispose of each other like that. That's not real love. Real love, before it could spread to alternate places and alternate people, real life has to come from here more than anything. And it's a cliche, and we see it in every single movie, but as humans we have very ephemeral memories, and we forget these things. And over time, if we're not reminded, we forget more and more. So it's up to us to keep remembering ourselves, keep the vision in play, to keep visualizing everything that we could be. Because life is like this. And it's unfathomable, really, what we're capable of if we just lose our cowardice. If we just lose it. But keep that in the back of your mind. The majority of love that we see today is unfortunately fish love. And if you find yourself in these moments as well where you think you have fish love, regroup, rethink why you're doing that, and also think about yourself and why you do the things that you do, why you say the words that you do, why you like the people, the hobbies, the ideas that you do. This world will do everything to bring you down, and it will do everything to confuse you, using dark, Machiavellian tactics to stray you away from everything that's in front of us right now. Because God, whether that means in a theologian sense, or in a sense that we can't even comprehend, God is all around us. His kingdom is in front of our eyes. It's in our senses. Whether we have 5 senses or a greater amount that cannot be quantified, I'm not sure. However, the concept remains. If you're going to love something, you have to love it unconditionally. And it's hard because it's difficult to quantify what unconditional means. Does that mean that we just have to expect it to not do anything for us? No. But it's cognizant, or rather I should say, sorry. It is important to remember that we are human at the end of the day. And people are prone to mistakes. Especially me. And if I can't hold those people to the same standard that I hold myself, or if I can't hold myself to the same standard that I hold those people, I have betrayed my character. Because as a man, we can have all the women, we can have all the money in the world, we can have all the respect, but all that means nothing if you've betrayed yourself in the process of that. All of that means nothing if you betrayed your own character. Leonardo da Vinci once painted a painting called The Vitruvian Man. And what the painting symbolizes is the duality that a man is. Or human, I should say. Animal and God. And the human lies somewhere in between those two. It is up to the man to choose what path he wants to go on. The path of the beast, the animal, the creature. The man that goes and only caters to his emotion and his hunger levels. In a bad way. Or he can become like a god. Omnipotent. Omniscient. Not all-knowing, of course, but trying to be all-knowing. And in trying to become like God, not trying to become God, but like God, that is where we can begin to see and start understanding love. When we see God in ourselves, when we see God in other people. Much goes on behind the scenes that we have no idea is going on. I'm not even pertaining about governmental powers, but even your best friend. I mean, how much do you really know about your best friend? You didn't know that much. And that's just objectively speaking. That doesn't mean anything, or that can mean a great amount, but you don't know much about your best friend. And you don't even know much about yourself sometimes. So try to be cognizant of when you're doing fish love, or when you're partaking in fish love, and try to understand your own hypocrisy in doing that. It's very sad too, especially for people our age these days. We lose the plot and we get misguided by things that don't do us any good in the long run, and barely in the short run too. We've been sacrificing our character and our divinity to make knaves happy. We can't do that anymore. We shouldn't do that anymore. Keep being the change you wish to see. And the people with the best ideas, who have the best range of ideas, are going to be the people that have the worst ideas ever. Mozart and Bach didn't release their most famous or most well-known or best compositions until they were already 100 pieces in or so. And they had their fair share of pieces that were not liked by the public, which does not necessarily mean that they were bad pieces, but you understand the gist. Keep going the distance. And there'll be days, and most of the days, you'll forget why you're even doing it in the first place, but it takes a while to get warmed up. And remember, to not be a slave to your motivation levels. And also understanding and not being a slave to your motivation levels, we can also learn to not be a slave to the sins that we partake in. And the sins also stem from fish love too. We partake in the sins, or we partake in fish love because we are being programmed. Well, I mean, our human composition is taking those ways, but we have to get in the distance. We have to.